Nikola Tesla, the prophet. There are stories that do not appear in history books. Tales carefully hidden, buried under layers of willful ignorance or powerful interests. Nikola Tesla, often seen as a solitary genius, was much more than the man behind modern electricity. He became the target of conspiracies, secret organizations, and occult forces that saw him as a threat to the established order. His story is that of a man who dared to challenge the darkness to bring light to humanity. What I am about to share goes beyond a mere biography. It is an odyssey of science, power, and mystery. Take your seat and let your mind travel through time. We are about to dive into the depths of a life where the visible and invisible meet. Smiljan, 1856. On a summer night, a storm raged in the Croatian mountains. The sky lit up in a nearly supernatural display. Inside a modest home, Georgina Tesla fought to give birth to her fourth child. Each lightning strike seemed to resonate in harmony with her contractions. A sign from the heavens, murmured the midwife as she watched the storm. When the last bolt struck a nearby tree, a newborn's cry filled the air. Nikola Tesla had just been born, wrapped in light, like a portent. Exhausted but clear-minded, Georgina gently caressed her son's head. "This child will carry a light that surpasses all darkness," she declared with a soft yet assured voice. In the days that followed, some villagers whispered that the child was cursed, while others claimed he was blessed. But one thing was certain: Nikola Tesla was destined for greatness. From a young age, Nikola displayed signs of extraordinary genius. At just 6 years old, he built a rudimentary water wheel, fascinated by the energy it captured. He observed everything with an almost unsettling intensity: insects, the flight patterns of birds, the flow of rivers. One night, while watching a thunderstorm with his mother, he asked a question that left Georgina speechless. "Do lightning bolts speak, Mother?" "Why do you think so?" she asked. "Because I hear them singing here," he replied, pointing to his forehead. Georgina did not answer, but she knew her son was different. At 16, Nikola left his village to pursue his studies. He became obsessed with electricity. His teachers were fascinated by his analytical mind, but also unsettled by his ideas. One day, as a professor explained direct current generators, Tesla interrupted. "Direct current is limited. Why not use alternating current? It could transport electricity over thousands of kilometers." "Tesla," the professor responded, "your ideas are interesting, but they're impossible." "Impossible is just a word for those who don't want to try," he calmly replied. In 1884, Tesla arrived in New York with few possessions, but a mind brimming with dreams. He found a position with Thomas Edison, where his intelligence quickly drew attention. Edison, however, saw Tesla as merely a technician. When Tesla proposed improving Edison's direct current generators, Edison laughed. "If you succeed, I'll give you $50,000. Tesla worked day and night for months. But when he presented his project, Edison laughed again. "You don't understand American humor, Tesla. That $50,000 was a joke." Humiliated, Tesla left Edison. But this incident marked the beginning of a greater struggle, Tesla versus the established order. After leaving Edison, Tesla met George Westinghouse, a visionary industrialist who believed in alternating current. Together, they challenged Edison's monopoly, who viewed this emerging technology with great hostility. Furious at losing his grip, Edison launched a vicious campaign to discredit Tesla and alternating current. He staged public demonstrations electrocuting animals to prove the dangers of this new technology. But Tesla, undeterred, pressed on, convinced of the rightness of his vision. In a meeting with financiers, he declared with conviction, "Alternating current is the future. No matter the lies spread against it, the facts will eventually speak for themselves." Despite the attacks, he continued to refine his systems, attracting the attention of open-minded industrialists. It was during this time that Tesla began noticing strange things. Anonymous letters arrived at his laboratory, urging him to stop his research. One evening, as he worked late, he found a note pinned to his door. "You are playing with forces you do not understand. Stop before it's too late." Tesla ignored these warnings, but the incidents continued. His funding was inexplicably cut off, and strangers began asking odd questions about his work. His assistants reported seeing shadows lurking around the laboratory at night. This only strengthened Tesla's determination to continue his research. One day, a man in a black suit arrived at his laboratory. "You are brilliant, Mr. Tesla." "Perhaps too brilliant," he said with a cold smile. "And who are you?" Tesla asked warily. "A friend," the man replied. "A friend advising you to be cautious." The man vanished as quickly as he had come. Tesla knew it was a warning, but he refused to succumb to fear. That evening, he wrote in his journal, "Those who seek to stop my work fail to understand that an idea is more powerful than any obstacle they can put in its way." In his laboratory in Colorado Springs, Tesla conducted his boldest experiments. The artificial lightning he produced lit up the sky, attracting both curiosity and awe from the townspeople. He had built gigantic coils capable of generating unimaginable electrical discharges. One evening, as he adjusted one of his machines, he intercepted a strange signal. It was not ordinary static, but a rhythmic sequence, almost like a coded message. Heart racing, Tesla noted every detail in his journal. "This is not a natural phenomenon," he murmured. "Someone or something is trying to communicate." He spent days analyzing the signal, convinced he had intercepted a transmission from an extraterrestrial intelligence. His assistants, though admiring his work, began to show signs of concern. "Master Tesla," one young assistant said one day, "what if what you're picking up comes from here? From forces that don't want you to succeed?" Tesla lifted his head, his gaze fixed on the horizon. "If that's the case," he replied calmly, "then it means I'm on the right track." Tesla's experiments quickly attracted the attention of established powers. One day, 3 men in dark suits arrived at his laboratory. One of them, tall and with piercing eyes, stepped forward. "Mr. Tesla, your work is fascinating," he said in a calm yet authoritative voice. "Thank you, but to whom do I have the honor of speaking?" Tesla asked coldly. "Identity is of little importance," the man replied. "What matters is whether you are willing to share your discoveries discreetly." Tesla immediately understood that he was dealing with agents of a powerful organization. "My discoveries belong to humanity, not to a handful of power-hungry men," he replied firmly. The man gave a cold smile. "You are an idealist, Mr. Tesla. But idealist or not, you are meddling with forces you do not understand. Be careful." After their departure, Tesla felt an invisible pressure around him. Equipment mysteriously disappeared, and some of his notes were stolen. But these obstacles only amplified his desire to reveal the power of free energy to the world. Tesla continued his research despite warnings and growing pressure. In his Colorado Springs laboratory, he was convinced he was nearing a discovery that would change the world. Free energy, he believed, could be harnessed and distributed wirelessly to any point on Earth. One evening, while working alone, he observed a strange light emanating from one of his devices. The electric discharge seemed to stabilize into an almost living form, vibrating with a disturbing regularity. Could electricity possess a consciousness? He wondered aloud. He wrote in his journal, "I am on the verge of crossing a barrier humanity has never dared to imagine." However, things took a troubling turn. His instruments began malfunctioning, and he suspected sabotage. His assistants reported seeing strangers lurking around the laboratory. One morning, he found a note left on his desk. "Your light is too bright. Extinguish it before it consumes you." Tesla understood he was being closely watched, but he did not slow down. He knew his project attracted hostile forces, but he felt it was his duty to humanity. In 1901, Tesla launched his most ambitious project, the Wardenclyffe Tower. This massive structure, built on Long Island's coast, was to be the center of his wireless transmission system. He convinced J.P. Morgan, a powerful financier, to support the project. However, Tesla did not reveal the full extent of his vision. Morgan believed he was funding a wireless communication system. But Tesla envisioned much more. The tower was intended to harness atmospheric energy and redistribute it freely across the globe. When Tesla explained this ambition to Morgan, the financier reacted with anger. "Why provide free energy? Where's the profit?" Morgan asked coldly. Tesla responded passionately, "Imagine a world where no one has to pay for energy. It's a revolution." Morgan laughed, almost mockingly. "Mr. Tesla, revolutions yield no profit. You are a dreamer. Shortly after this conversation, funding for Wardenclyffe was cut off. Tesla tried to continue the project on his own, but financial obstacles and external pressures became insurmountable. The tower remained unfinished, a silent monument to his shattered dreams. In the following years, Tesla became an increasingly vulnerable target. The secret organizations and industrialists he had challenged began to intensify their actions against him. His contacts were monitored, and several of his financial partners were mysteriously intimidated. During a conference in London, an unknown person slipped a note into Tesla's pocket. It read, "Your ideas are a threat. Stop now, or you will disappear like those before you." Tesla showed no reaction, but he knew he was in danger. Nevertheless, he continued to work on even more advanced inventions. Among them was a machine capable of capturing cosmic energy and another he called his death ray. This last invention particularly caught the attention of governments and occult organizations. One day, a government agent arrived at Tesla's laboratory and demanded to see his work. Tesla categorically refused. "My inventions are not weapons," he said. "They are meant to save humanity, not destroy it." But he knew his inventions might be used for military purposes, even against his will. The years passed, and Tesla became increasingly withdrawn. He moved into a modest hotel in New York, where he lived in near solitude. His only companions were the pigeons he fed daily. He spent hours reflecting on his discoveries, jotting down ideas he knew he would never have the time to realize. One day, a young journalist came to interview him. "Mr. Tesla, do you regret everything you've sacrificed?" he asked. Tesla stared out the window at the horizon before answering softly. "What I did for humanity. But humanity is not yet ready for what I have discovered." On January 7th, 1943, Tesla was found dead in his hotel room. His papers, journals, and notes were confiscated by the US government. Many believe his most advanced discoveries remain hidden somewhere, either used or kept secret by powerful organizations. Before his death, Tesla confided to a close friend, "What I have discovered could change the world. But the world is not yet ready."